Sociology Project, Global Inequality, Canada and Syria.
Since 1946, the Syrian Arab Republic has been an independent state. This transition has not been easy and has resulted in 21 presidential changes up until present day, and at least 15 significant conflicts ranging from armed protests to coups d'etats. Most recently, the region has been in a civil war between the citizens and the Bashar al-Assad dictatorship. With regards to population, both Syria and Canada have experienced growth between the years 2000 and 2014, as seen on the left-hand side. However, with the chart on the right-hand side, it shows that the Syrian population has decreased more significantly than Canada's. This change is most likely due to the recent civil war and mass emigration that Syria has been experiencing.
The World Bank identifies a high-income country as one that has a GNP per capita income of $9,266 in 2000 and a lower middle-income country as one that has a GNP per capita income of between $756 and $2,995 in the year 2000. GNP per capita represents the total value of goods and services produced by a country in a year divided by the number of people living there.
The number of children per woman in Syria surprised us because it showed little change between the period before and after the 2011 civil war. At the same time, when compared to Canada, the number is around 3 times greater, but that is because of the different culture the two states have with regards to children. The rate of child deaths between Canada and Syria is considerably spread apart. However, it was not as extreme as expected. We can see that there has since been an increase of child mortality between the periods before and after the outbreak of the conflict in Syria. However, the data tables do not indicate how the children died. Because of the time period, we can attribute some of the increase as a result of the war, but should also consider other factors like disease or natural causes. Expectancy of children born in the periods before and after the current civil war have decreased significantly in Syria. Beforehand, it was relatively close to that of Canada's, but has since been affected by the new conditions as a result of the fighting and destruction of essential infrastructures like homes and hospitals.
Total enrollment in Syria of children in primary school is higher than in Canada, while enrollment of children in Canada is higher for those in secondary school. This may be because more young adults in Syria are required to join the workforce and do not attend secondary school, or that laws in Syria require that children only attend primary school. Improved water sources include pipe water on premises and other improved drinking water sources such as drinking fountains and rainwater collection. Improved sanitation includes flush or porta-flush toilets, improved latrines, and composting toilets.
There are differences between the two countries in size, geography, and population. The data we have compiled represents a cross-section sample from numerous sources, however the margins separating Canada and Syria are narrow. Where we found the most differences between Canada and Syria was in the following datasets. This slide shows the most dramatic change, especially when we compare Canada's steady number to that of Syria's. The data demonstrates the large distinction between a peaceful country and one affected by violence. At the turn of the century, Syria and Canada had similar results. However, in 2012, a year after the beginning of Syria's most recent conflict, the number of deaths by injury has since increased to almost half of the reported population.
Typically, battle-related deaths occur in warfare involving the armed forces of the warring parties. This includes traditional battlefield fighting, guerrilla activities, and all kinds of bombardments of military units, cities, and villages. The targets are usually the military itself and its installations or state institutions and state representatives, but there is often substantial collateral damage in the form of civilians being killed in crossfire and in indiscriminate bombings. Source note: the figure of minus 99 refers to the number of battle-related deaths removed from the statistics as they have not been confirmed. In this breakdown, we see the mechanisms of death. The 13 to 17-year-old age bracket is high at 2,647, and the highest percentage of 3 to 7-year-olds being killed by explosive weapons. The pattern here is likely that younger fighting age males are pushed to the front lines to become casualties of direct fire weapons such as machine guns, while innocent children behind the lines are killed by indiscriminate explosive weapons. In the short period of time since the outbreak of the conflict in Syria, it is apparent that the true cost of war is heaviest on those who can least protect themselves. Given that Canada is a nation at peace with itself, there is simply no comparison to be made in this arena. But it is a good example of what the statistics should look like when the conflict is resolved. What is demonstrated in this presentation are before and after snapshots of a nation that in many respects was showing similarities to a rich nation such as Canada. Inequality is thus demonstrated by the high cost of warfare ultimately paid for with human life and borne mainly by children.